Hey everybody, Sam Liccardo here with a beautiful DC sunset in the backdrop. I am just outside the Capitol. We've been on the floor for many hours and I stepped off to go back to the office because we're waiting. We've had a procedural vote going on for many hours. The vote is clearly going to favor the Republicans. It's 218 to 212. There's no question they've won, but they're not closing the vote. And the reason why they're not is they don't want to move on to the next vote without ensuring that they've got all of their members on board to vote for this big budget bill, this big budget busting borrowing bill that we are considering and you've heard so much about in the news. Now, there are somewhere on the order of 4 or 5 holdouts. I expect that those holdouts are ultimately going to cave. As they say, they're brave until they cave. But they're members of what's called the House Freedom Caucus. These are folks who are really focused on the debt in this bill and how it is accelerating the accumulation of debt that we're burdening our children and grandchildren with. And they're right. There is way too much debt in this bill. I happen to agree with them. And although I would agree with some of the provisions of this bill that would, for example, reduce tax burdens in different ways. For example, full deductibility of research and development expenditures, which has been the law for decades before 2017 till Trump's last bill got rid of it, or allowing for higher SALT deductibility for a lot of homeowners. I think those can be good things, but there's a lot of tax cuts and giveaways in this bill. In fact, $5 trillion that Donald Trump promised publicly, and they don't really have any way to pay for it. And because they don't have any way to pay for it, yes, we're seeing severe cuts, of course, to Medicaid and nutrition programs and education programs and so forth. But they literally are putting this on the credit card. They do not have enough cuts to cover what is at least a $3.9 trillion acceleration of debt with all the interest costs. CBO says it's 3.3 trillion. You add on interest, you get to 3.9 trillion. And it goes even higher. It goes to 5.3 trillion when you consider that there are many temporary tax provisions in this measure that will almost certainly become permanent. That's a full 5.3 trillion of additional debt that this bill is going to put on our children and grandchildren. That's why the Freedom Caucus is holding out, and they're right to hold out. I don't expect they're going to hold out much longer, though. What we've seen over and over is that they're brave until they cave. So we'll be back with more information in the next couple of days. Thanks, everybody.